City volunteers in Malaysia prepare a reunion feast for care recipients to celebrate the Lunar New Year. In Malaysia, a mentally challenged girl learns from City volunteers' example on how to help others. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Tzu. Thank you for joining us. City volunteers in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, Malaysia, invited care recipients to a reunion feast to celebrate the Lunar New Year. They also went to those who could not leave their homes, so they too could enjoy the holiday festivities. City volunteers used the red envelopes to make the venue filled with festivities of Lunar New Year because they're holding a celebration for 5 care recipient families. The reunion feast is prepared by the volunteers and the care recipients. Even the Malay recipients are invited to come.
现在呢，我们是全部拉在一起就好像一个大家庭这样啊。
We're put together now like a big family, so we're very close. The distance between you and me is very close. It's not far away, so we can eat together and chit-chat.
I'm very happy to see everyone so happy because it makes me feel that when people are together, their happiness will double or triple.
When we finished eating, we will think about what blessing words we can say to bless everyone.
After this happy lunch, everyone can go home safely and enjoy a happy Lunar New Year.
City volunteers also visited care recipients' home to wish him Happy New Year. He's suffering from ankylosing spondylitis, so he has been bedridden for years. The volunteers invite him to join them for the Yushen. The volunteers give the Lunar New Year gifts to him and also the red envelope of blessing wisdom from Master Zheng Yan. The care recipients are not related to the volunteers, but the volunteers will always bring blessing to them at every occasion because the volunteers have considered the care recipients as their families. The Tzu Chi Liaison Office in Indonesia hosted 4 Lunar New Year events. 2 of them were conducted at the Batam Jingsi Hall. Let's join them there.
Batam Jingsi Hall hosted the first event to give thanks and wishes in Lunar New Year. Volunteers worked together to set up the venue festively to welcome local residents to participate.
Karena ini udah rumah sendiri, aula kita sendiri.
The Jingsi Hall is like our home. The decorations can stay here for a while after the event.
In the past, they rented temporary venues, so the decoration must be removed right afterwards. Now they have a place of their own. The joy is indescribable. They also have a regular place to practice sign language songs together, which has improved their performance.
It's wonderful to have our own home. We can practice sign language songs together here.
Batam Tzu Chi volunteers have hosted 2 events at the Jingsi Hall, as well as 2 more in the communities. Volunteers even traveled 4 hours to one which was held at La Passion.
I'm grateful that I have this opportunity because they need a translator and an MC here. I will do my best now that I have this chance.
And the last event in Tanjung Pinang, on stage volunteers presented a solemn and unified performance which they practiced for 3 months.
I'm actually quite nervous, but it was all right. I thought that if we want to perform it well, we must adapt a vegetarian diet because everything goes smoother when you eat healthily.
With a joyful and appreciative heart, volunteers have brought their heart's best wishes to each of the venues.
In China, city volunteers continue to deliver love and New Year goods to the underprivileged elderly population. Recently, the volunteers went to Sijiashui village to give out rice and their best wishes.
虽然很冷，但是心里特温暖。大冬天的，给咱们困难老人来入户，给咱们送温暖。这个给你送福来了。好。过年了，过来看望一下你。照了。
我家真是这么照顾人。
The
volunteers headed to every household to deliver their well wishes one by one with the best of intentions. They use sign language to pass on their message of love to the people with hearing impairments.
When we first arrived here, there was a woman chopping a tree. We came to deliver love and warmth to the elderly population, so we were just passing by her. However, she still said that, "Thank you guys very much for coming to visit us." She said it several times to us. At that moment, it made me feel like when we are sincerely caring for others, not only the people we are directly caring for can feel it. Love is spread all around. It's actually infectious.
When you turn thoughts of love and compassion into actions, the ripple effect is endless.
In Taiwan, city volunteers visited impoverished care recipients, providing them with daily necessities and emotional comfort. Their constant companionship and care has led them to become like old friends. Volunteers also deliver gifts door to door during the Lunar New Year holiday.
During the Lunar New Year holiday, volunteers brought gifts and cash cards for care recipient families. Mrs. Lin burst into tears when seeing the familiar faces of volunteers. Volunteers comforted her mood and relieved her emotions. Mrs. Lin did not get along with her husband. She has also suffered from depression, which has kept her feeling sad for a long time. Volunteers see these care recipients as their family and deliver Lunar New Year gifts one by one to their homes. 80-year-old Mr. Ling lives with his wife. He has 4 sons, but 3 of them were divorced, and the other one also suffered from an unhappy marriage. He was wealthy when young, but his financial situation faltered due to investments in the stock market.
My life is difficult, but I'm thankful to have all you kind people coming here to help me.
Tzu Chi's support has moved him deeply. He said that the 2 people he admired the most in his lifetime are former President Jiang Jingguo and Dharma Master Zheng Yan.
The Buddha always saves people from sorrow and hardships. That's what the Master is like in my heart. I respect her from the bottom of my heart.
Just like visiting old friends, volunteers always have many topics to talk about with care recipients. They hope to give them their most sincere wishes and love.
In Malaysia, Tzu Chi suffered from mental illnesses after the passing of her adoptive father. Her situation was discovered accidentally by a Malaysian city volunteer. City volunteers started to care for her and took her to seek medical attention. With 11 care volunteers, Tzu Chi has now become more open-minded and can even help other people in need.
The first time I saw her, she looked panicky. In addition, she had many self-inflicted scars on her hands, about 7 to 8 scars on each hand.
Dia diam, bukan tunjuk dia diam.
Oh, dia diam, potong-potong lagi ini.
She was there by the roadside stopping my car. Right here at the bend, her adoptive father loved her very much, but after he passed away, she lost someone to rely on. That's why she always has negative thoughts.
思想开始的慢慢的偏差了。
About an hour later, we received a call from another police station, telling us that Tzu Chi was outside the police station.
然后我们还没有到，我们就看到可以给他。
Before we arrived, we already saw Tzu Chi. She took off her clothes and pants, standing on the roadside. I thought there were some troubles with the child.
我们得到家人的同意。
After getting her family's permission, we sent her to the rehabilitation center. The decision was more suitable for Tzu Chi because it is very dangerous for a girl to wander alone.
很危险的事情。要带什么给你？
琪琪毕竟还是不能。
Tzu Chi is still unable to come out, so we need to find ways to help her. We would share stories of some individuals with her and invite her to encourage our care recipients.
鼓励一下我们的感恩户啊。
对。等一下，1、2、3，开始。一香哥哥，我祝福你身体健康。
他现在改变到可以自助人了。
She has now become someone who can not only help herself but also others. Actually, it is not easy. At this rehabilitation center, she can help the boss care for elderly people. For example, she would feed them, clean their rooms, and make handicrafts. She can do all of this by herself.
来，轮到你画阿妈。阿妈这个哥哥狗狗。我是希望像琪琪这样的孩子哈。
I hope that I can plant the seed of love and kindness in the hearts of children like Tzu Chi. I hope the seed of kindness and love will forever go with her. In addition, I hope that there is always selfless love in her heart.
也希望在她的心田里面也是带着这个大爱的种子。
Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for a 47-year-old care recipient who's bedridden. Besides helping him clean up his house, volunteers also encourage him to cultivate good thoughts and stay strong while facing challenges in life.
Xiao Siswanto is 47 years old. He has an immune system disorder and could not afford expensive medical treatment. 18 years have passed and his illness becomes more severe day by day.
At the beginning, it was very painful. Whenever I walk, I can feel the pain in my feet, knees, and pelvis. I felt very sore.
The illness had affected his self-esteem. After Tzu Chi volunteers came to care for him, Xiao Siswanto began to feel better. Moreover, his mother has always been there for him.
I wanted to thank God for safeguarding him. As long as I'm alive, I'll continue to take care of him. If I leave the world, then I won't be able to look after him anymore. I am grateful to God once again to let me have strength and a healthy body.
From the first visit all the way until now, he has changed a lot. At the very beginning, he would only stay at his house. He wouldn't take a shower and cut his fingernails. After knowing his situation, we came to help him and started to take care of him. We also called other Tzu Chi chapters for assistance.
I am grateful for the volunteers' unconditional giving. I wanted to thank God for giving me the opportunity to meet Tzu Chi. I've realized that many people in the world really need Tzu Chi's help.
Volunteers conduct monthly visits to his house. Besides helping him to do a cleanup, volunteers also assisted him to freshen up. They also encouraged him to stay strong and have courage while facing challenges in life.
There's a single father in Hong Kong who had applied for government-subsidized housing for many years, but he was never approved. In addition, the first landlord did not want to renew his rental contract, which forced him to move out of their apartment in a hurry. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers helped the family move to a temporary residence. Finally, after 3 months at the new place, the long-awaited housing approval came, so a second round of moving took place.
Tzu Chi volunteers made their way up to an apartment without any elevators. They helped move out the various sized luggage from the Tzu Chi care recipient, Mr. Orr's home. The family of 3 needed a helping hand to move.
The landlord said that he no longer wants to rent the apartment out to me, so I'm being forced to move out now.
Mr. Orr's helpless face says it all. It's been 7 years that he's applied for government-subsidized housing, and he's still waiting on the approval. On top of that, the landlord is no longer renewing his rental contract, so he's forced to quickly find another place to live in.
There isn't any government-subsidized housing available at the moment, so I'm forced to have to rent a higher-priced apartment to live in.
The narrow stairs of the old apartment is quite a challenge when it comes to moving large furniture, such as the refrigerator and the washing machine. The volunteers spend a lot of team effort to successfully move everything out and into the new residence. After living in the new residence for 3 months, the long-awaited good news finally came. Mr. Orr's application for government-subsidized housing was finally approved. Therefore, before the Lunar New Year holiday period, Tzu Chi volunteers once again mobilized a team to the family's residence.
The children in the home are all scholarship recipients. The family has financial difficulties, plus it's a single parents family. They've always lived in rentals, so it's such great news to hear that they will finally have a house to themselves now. Therefore, we came to help them move into their new home today.
With the previous moving experience, the volunteers worked more efficiently the second time around. In addition, the new residence is in a building that has an elevator, which greatly reduced much of the physical efforts.
My salary is quite low and the rent is really high. The apartment we rented before was about $895, so I'm very happy and grateful to the government for approving my application. I'm also very grateful for your guys' help.
Within 6 months, the family moved twice. Mr. Orr felt really overwhelmed, but fortunately, there were Tzu Chi volunteers helping him every step of the way. He's very grateful that they can finally enjoy the Lunar New Year in a home of their own.
In our ongoing series on water resources, today we take a look at seawater desalination in Hong Kong. Back in 1972, Hong Kong began to build a desalination plant, which was the largest in the world. However, due to high costs and other reasons, the plant was eventually deserted. Now Hong Kong is in the process of building the Junk Bay desalination plant, but this time it is using reverse osmosis technology to lower the costs. Here's more.
In 2013, the Hong Kong government has planned to build a new desalination plant on the Junk Bay. The project, which costs more than $115 million, is expected to complete it in 2022. The plant would provide 10% of Hong Kong's drinking water.
The 10-hectare area will be used to build a new desalination plant, which is expected to produce 135,000 square meters of water every day. However, why doesn't Hong Kong build new reservoirs instead of resorting to the seawater desalination route?
水库，我们要考虑有没有会不会
We thought about building new reservoirs, but it is not to our best economic interest compared to other options. Therefore, we're leaning more toward the seawater desalination route. As you know, the land in Hong Kong is very expensive and limited.
From social media, we can see that the advocacy groups for the building of desalination plants are calling for Hong Kong's independence on water. It is because in the past 20 years, the Hong Kong population has increased by 1 million, and the cost of buying Dongjiang water has also been increasing year by year. Therefore, the scholars are also asking the government to search for new water sources.
The government estimates that the cost of seawater desalination is $1.7 per cubic meter. It is not that much more expensive. We can afford the difference in costs. On the other hand, even though it is a bit more expensive, we're also buying an insurance plan at the same time.
In
terms of our water management strategy, we need to have a buffer. Imagine that it is quite dry this year and Dongjiang water is not even enough to meet the needs of the Guangdong province itself. It would be a serious problem. Hong Kong needs a backup plan, so seawater desalination is definitely necessary. We can't put all of our eggs in one basket. We need to lessen the risks.
As early as when Hong Kong was a British colony, the government had thought about decreasing the risks. In this old picture, we can see that Hong Kong once had the largest seawater desalination plant in the world. Back then, it produced more than 180,000 square meters of fresh water every day.
This is the site of the former Le Anpai desalting plant in Hong Kong. It was built back in the 1970s when the Cultural Revolution took place in China. At the time, the Hong Kong government was afraid that it would affect the provision of Dongjiang water. Therefore, it looked for new water sources and eventually built the seawater desalination plant, which was opened in 1975. Back then, it was the largest desalination plant in the world. Later, after the Chinese economic reform took place, China and Hong Kong's relationship became friendlier. Therefore, there was no problem with the provision of Dongjiang water once again. As a result, in 1980, this desalination plant was closed down. It eventually became a flea market and a location for shooting movie scenes.
Besides political reasons, the other reason that the desalination plant was deserted was because it used distillation technology. At that time, it relied on burning fossil fuel to heat up the ocean water. Therefore, the cost was quite high. Then in the 1980s, the price of fossil fuel rose, and as a result, Long On Pai desalting plant had to be shut down due to financial considerations. More than 30 years later, Hong Kong is restarting to desalinize the seawater. However, the cost is still a big concern. The government has decided to follow other desalination plants around the world and use reverse osmosis technology to both reduce the salt in the seawater and lower the overall cost.
两大水库当时在世界是技术领先的两大水库，万宜水库跟船湾。
The two reservoirs, the Highland Reservoir and the Plover Cove Reservoir, are quite advanced in the world. Besides, back then, Hong Kong had the world's largest desalination plant. When the three projects were completed, Hong Kong had the ability to survive solely on the local water provisions.
Scholars are optimistic about the future of seawater desalination. This way, Hong Kong can be independent on its own water provisions. Hong Kong can learn from the experience in Singapore. KK Lee of the CUHK mentioned that in the past, Singapore had to buy fresh water from Malaysia. However, in recent years, Singapore turned to seawater desalination and production of reclaimed water, making it independent in their own water provisions.
到现在为止，它还在向马来西亚去买淡水。
Currently, Singapore still buys fresh water from Malaysia. The main reason that Singapore still does this is because the cost of buying such water is lower than producing water locally. Now that Singapore has the ability to produce water for their own use, their water provisions is quite safe. So, since they have a backup plan in store, then it's no problem for Singapore to buy water from Malaysia. This way, it can buy water at a lower cost.
After all, Hong Kong's situation is quite different from Singapore. The scholars have suggested that Hong Kong's ideal water provision model is 40% Dongjiang water, 30% reservoirs, and 30% desalination plant. If such ideal is feasible, then Hong Kong might need more than one desalination plant in order to be completely independent in their water provisions. City volunteers in Kansai, Japan have participated in the annual Spring Festival at Osaka Chinese School. They seized the occasion to clean up the venue and promote recycling, serving the Chinese communities in Kansai. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.